Hello everyone, welcome to my bold and the beautiful official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please press the subscribe button and give this video thumbs up. In Carter's garret, Hope tells him he's the man she wants to spend her future with. He frowns. Not Liam? He can't understand. Hope says, what you heard, it's not what you suppose. Grace updates Liam. At the sanitarium, Liam, Steffi, and Finn stay in his office for Grace Buckingham. She joins them and Steffi asks about the possible treatments for her partner. Liam asks if she's set up a way to save him. The croaker is sorry if she gave them the wrong print. Finn realizes his prognostic hasn't changed. Grace confirms it's still inoperable. She didn't ask them there to bandy a cure. They may be suitable to extend his timeline, but it could have serious impacts on his quality of life. Liam Grace BNB. Liam clarifies that he's still terminal, but he could have further time. Grace hands Finn a train. She's consulted with several specialists. He's a great seeker for a new combination of radiation and chemo. Liam asks about the side goods. Grace says they've developed a treatment plan that could palliate some of his symptoms and conceivably give him further time. But people reply else to these treatments. It may not protract his life. The side goods could make him feel worse than he does. Finn warns he could be bedridden with headaches and nausea, and there could be organ or wimwams damage. Liam gasps, oh my God. He sensations that now he has an insolvable choice. How is he supposed to make a decision grounded on this? Steffi tells Liam this could give him time. Liam questions if that time would be spent with his favored bones. Or sick and exhausted in bed and the restroom. Grace urges him to reuse this and bandy it with his family. Finn thanks her for her hard work on this and she exits. Steffi asks Liam to please say commodity. Finn declares that it's a particular and delicate decision. Steffi wants him to fight for further time with his daughters. Kelly and Beth want to spend as important time with them as they can. Steffi Liam BNB. Daphne gets bad news. In Forrester's design office, Daphne moons over a print of Carter on her phone and flashes to telling him he and Hope aren't meant to be. Zend, Will and Elektra enter and pitch a new scent idea to her. Daphne doesn't respond. Zend asks if she has other ideas or is commodity differently on her mind. Will suppositions Daphne heard the big news about his kinsman being back there. Daphne asks, your kinsman? Zend says, Hope's back at Forrester. Daphne rolls, Steffi reinstated Hope? Zend's sure they can find a way to work together peacefully. Daphne declares that Forrester is better off without Hope, especially Carter. Zend admits they were each surprised. Daphne wonders what changed for Steffi. Will says they're each agitated to have her back. Zend tells Daphne they admire her view, but Hope has been missed. Elektra adds, utmost of all by Carter. Daphne BNB. Elektra and Will leave, and Zend observes that Daphne's not thrilled about Hope being back. Because you're in love with Carter. Piling on Ridge. In the main office, Ridge and Brooke go over Steffi and Hope suddenly make peace. Brooke feels if they can make their relationship, the two of them can do the same. Ridge is surprised Steffi didn't bandy this with him first. Perhaps they're missing commodity. Perhaps commodity happed. Brooke Ridge BNB. Brooke sensations at Hope and Steffi's feud coming to an end. Ridge likes this armistice. Brooke gushes about them all working together as one big happy family. She's concentrated on family, me, you, together. Katie interrupts and offers to come back. Brooke says she was just reminding Ridge they will always be each other's fortune. Brooke reminds Ridge of the amazing moment they had on the runway. The whole world saw the love they've for each other. With that, she leaves, closing the door as she goes. Katie tells Ridge, "My family's not wrong." Ridge accuses her of piling on, but she says she's just speaking the verity. Brooke and Ridge belong together. And nothing and no bone is going to change that. In the dressing room, Brooke flashes back to the fashion show and being on stage with Ridge. Hope tells all. At Carter's garret, Hope has told him off-screen about Liam's prognostic and tearfully explains that's why he heard her saying she wants to spend time with him. They do and know how important time they've left. Carter holds her. Carter Hope cry BNB. Carter see and imagine how horrible this has been and tells Hope she's not alone and can lean on him. She'll need the support. This all really changed her perspective. She doesn't want to waste presently time and wants to put the kiss with Daphne and the preemption behind them. Carter vows to be her gemstone. He'll no way question her love for him again. They kiss. Steffi wants Liam to fight. At the sanitarium, Liam knows Steffi is prompting him to fight from a place of love. All he can suppose about is his mama and how important she suffered with the cancer treatments. She was a shell of who she was ahead. Do I want that for Kelly and Beth? Do you want that? Steffi just wants their son to have her father as long as possible. His experience could be different from his mama's, please. Just get the treatment. Liam looks at Finn and back at Steffi. In Carter's spacious loft, the soft hum of the city buzzed through the cracked windows, but Hope barely heard it. Her voice trembled, yet her words were firm. "You're the man I want to spend my future with," she whispered, standing before Carter, eyes shimmering with emotion. Carter, caught off guard, furrowed his brow. "Not Liam?" he asked, almost breathlessly. Confusion clouded his usually calm features. "I heard you earlier, Hope. What you said, it didn't sound like you were choosing me." Hope stepped closer, her hands reaching for his. "What you heard, it's not what you think." Her voice cracked under the weight of truth and turmoil. The emotional whirlwind in the room matched the chaos unfolding elsewhere in the city. Across town, in the cold, clinical air of the hospital, Liam sat flanked by Steffi and Finn, waiting anxiously for news that would determine the course of his life. The door swung open and in walked Grace Buckingham, a grave look etched onto her face. Steffi, never one to hold back, leapt into the fray. "Any progress? Any new treatments?" she asked with desperate hope. Liam leaned forward, his eyes pleading. "Is there any way to save me?" Grace inhaled deeply, her tone careful but clear. "I'm sorry if I gave you false hope," she began. Finn's expression darkened. "So his prognosis hasn't changed?" Grace nodded slowly. "It's still inoperable. But I didn't ask you here to talk about a cure." Her words trailed off as she handed Finn a thick file. Liam's gaze darted between them. "What is it?" Grace explained, "After consulting several specialists, we believe you're a good candidate for a new chemoradiation combination. It's experimental but promising, at least in giving you more time." Liam's heart raced as possibilities warred with fear in his mind. "Side effects?" he asked. "There are always side effects," Grace admitted. "It might prolong your life, but it could also make things worse." Finn added grimly, "You could be bedridden, nauseous, in constant pain. There's a risk of nerve and organ damage." Liam exhaled sharply, hands gripping the edge of his chair. "Oh my God," he muttered, his voice thick. "How do I choose between living less time feeling okay, or more time in agony?" Steffi took his hand, her eyes welling with tears. "You could have more time with the girls. With us. That's worth something." Liam looked up at her, conflicted. "Time with them, but what kind of time? Lying in bed while they watch me fade away?" Grace gently suggested he take time to process and talk with family. She left them in stunned silence. "Say something," Steffi finally whispered. Finn placed a steady hand on Liam's shoulder. "Whatever you decide, it's your choice. No one else's." Steffi wasn't ready to let go. "Just consider it, Liam. Please. Kelly and Beth deserve more moments with you." Meanwhile, across Forrester Creations, Daphne sat alone in the design office, a photo of Carter on her phone illuminating her somber face. She flashed to that recent moment, her voice shaking as she told Carter he and Hope were wrong for each other. The door burst open and in walked Zend, Will, and Electra, bubbling with energy over a new fragrance idea. Daphne barely acknowledged them. "You okay?" Zend asked, eyebrows raised. Will smirked knowingly. She must have heard. "My cousin's back." "Your cousin?" Daphne asked, distracted. "Hope's back at Forrester," Zend explained. Daphne's heart sank. "Steffi reinstated Hope?" she asked, incredulous. "Why?" Zend shrugged. "We don't know, but we're working with it." Daphne clenched her jaw. Forrester was better without her. Especially Carter. The men exchanged glances. Electra said softly, "Carter missed her." Once alone, Zend gave Daphne a knowing look. "This is hard for you because you're in love with Carter, right?" In another part of the building, Ridge and Brooke discussed the unlikely truce between Hope and Steffi. Brooke was elated, hoping the peace between the two women might mirror a new beginning for her and Ridge. "If they can move forward, maybe we can too," she said, brushing his arm. Ridge wasn't so sure. "It's just strange. Steffi didn't even talk to me about this." Something happened. Katie entered mid-conversation but quickly offered to return later. Brooke smiled, "I was just reminding Ridge of our destiny." Katie stayed and echoed her sister's sentiment. "She's not wrong. You and Brooke, you belong together." Ridge rolled his eyes. "You're piling on." "No," Katie said firmly. "I'm telling the truth." Alone in a quiet dressing room, Brooke let herself relive the magic of the runway moment, the kiss, the applause, the world recognizing their eternal bond. Back at Carter's loft, Hope's walls finally came down. She explained Liam's diagnosis, the weight of it all, and why her words earlier had been misunderstood. Carter pulled her into a protective embrace. "You're not alone," he murmured. "Lean on me. Let me carry this with you." Tears streamed down her face. "I don't want to waste time anymore. I want to leave all the drama, Daphne, the power plays, behind." Carter held her tighter. "Then we move forward. Together. I believe in your love." Their kiss was deep and healing, two souls clinging to something certain amid chaos. Back at the hospital, Liam was reeling. He looked at Steffi, anguish etched into every line of his face. "When my mom went through treatment, she became someone else. Frail. Miserable. I can't let Kelly and Beth see me like that." Steffi pleaded, "This could be different. You're stronger. Please just try. For them." Liam looked to Finn, then back at Steffi, caught between a will to live and the fear of dying slowly in front of those he loved most. In Carter's loft, a hush settled over the sleek, modern space as Hope Logan stood in the soft afternoon light filtering through the large industrial windows, her voice trembling with emotion as she looked Carter Walton in the eyes. "You're the man I want to spend my future with," she said, her breath catching as her hands reached out toward him. Carter's brow furrowed deeply, confusion shadowing the softness of his expression. "Not Liam?" he asked, the name hanging between them like a ghost neither could ignore. I don't understand. The weight of what he had overheard, the fragments of a conversation she never meant for anyone else to hear, clung to his mind like smoke. Hope shook her head slowly, her eyes glassy but resolute. What you heard, it's not what you think. Her voice broke, but she stood firm, the truth caught between confession and heartbreak. Meanwhile, across town at the hospital, Liam Spencer sat in a dimly lit office with Steffi and Finn, their faces tense with anticipation. Grace Buckingham entered with a clinical grace, her eyes shadowed with the burden of what she had to tell them. Steffi, her hand intertwined with Liam's, asked with a desperate hope if there was any treatment that could save her ex-husband. Liam looked up, fragile and trembling with a mixture of fear and longing. Is there a way to save me? Grace offered a sympathetic smile that didn't reach her eyes. I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. Finn's face fell as he realized what was coming. Grace confirmed that the cancer was still inoperable, the prognosis unchanged, but she hadn't gathered them to talk about a miracle cure, rather, a possibility of extending his time. The room grew colder as she explained the consequences. Liam's heart pounded. Yes, there was a treatment, an aggressive combination of radiation and chemotherapy that could possibly give him more time, but it came at a cost. The side effects could be brutal, Grace warned, handing Finn a thick file filled with scans and notes from specialists. It might not even work. And if it doesn't, the pain could be worse than what you're experiencing now. Liam closed his eyes as a wave of nausea, not from the illness, but from the decision, washed over him. Oh my God, he whispered. How am I supposed to make this choice? Steffi leaned in, her eyes wet with unspoken pleas. This could give you time, Liam. But Liam, ever the realist, questioned, time to do what? To lie in bed, sick and exhausted? To say goodbye one more time? Finn spoke carefully, professionally, but his words still cut. You could be bedridden, dealing with migraines, vomiting, even long-term nerve damage. Grace encouraged him to discuss it with his loved ones, reminding him the choice was his alone. As she exited, the silence she left behind was deafening. Steffi begged him to say something, her voice cracking, while Finn acknowledged the gravity of what Liam faced. It's your call, Liam. It's personal. It's difficult. But no one can make it for you. Steffi clung to hope, insisting their daughters needed more time with their father. Kelly and Beth love you. They need you. The words haunted Liam, echoed in his thoughts as he tried to imagine what the end of his life would look like, and more importantly, what kind of father he wanted to be in the time that remained. Elsewhere, in Forrester Creations' design office, Daphne paced restlessly, her phone clutched in her hand, the screen lit up with a smiling photo of Carter. She couldn't stop thinking about him, about the kiss, about what could have been if Hope hadn't returned. Her earlier words to him, "You and Hope aren't meant to be," replayed in her head like a broken record. She was convinced of it, with every fiber of her being. When Zend, Will, and Elektra entered, she barely noticed. They were pitching a new fragrance campaign, but Daphne was distant, distracted. Zend caught on immediately, asking gently if something else was on her mind. Will, always the eager gossip, smirked. You heard the news, huh? About my cousin? Daphne blinked, pulled from her daze. Your cousin? Zend clarified, Hope's back at Forrester. The words hit Daphne like a slap. Steffi reinstated her? She asked, voice sharp with disbelief. Zend nodded. We're hoping you two can find a way to work together again. But Daphne wasn't interested in reconciliation. This place is better off without Hope, she snapped. Especially Carter. Zend and Will exchanged a look, and Elektra chimed in softly, he's missed her. Most of all. As the others left, Zend lingered. He could see right through her. You're not mad Hope's back. You're in love with Carter. The accusation hung in the air, unspoken truths cracking the fragile mask Daphne wore. Meanwhile, in the main Forrester office, Ridge and Brooke reviewed the unexpected alliance between Steffi and Hope. Brooke glowed with optimism. If the two women could find peace, why couldn't she and Ridge do the same? Ridge was surprised Steffi hadn't consulted him before making such a big decision. Something must have happened, he mused. Brooke agreed. Still, she saw it as a sign. This could be the start of all of us being one big happy family again, she said, her hand brushing his. Katie appeared, offering to come back later, but Brooke, never one to back down from destiny, stood her ground. I was just reminding Ridge, we're meant to be. As she left, Katie turned to Ridge. She's right. You and Brooke, it's always been you two. Ridge sighed. Are you piling on now? Katie shrugged. Just stating facts. Alone in the dressing room, Brooke let herself remember the fashion show, the bright lights, the stage, and Ridge's eyes on her like no time had passed at all. Back at Carter's loft, the atmosphere shifted again. Hope had told Carter the full truth, off-screen, tearful, and raw. Liam's illness. The prognosis. The impossible decisions. That's why Carter had heard her say those confusing words. She didn't know how much time Liam had, how many moments were left. Carter, moved and shaken, took her into his arms. You're not alone, he murmured. You can lean on me. Hope nodded against his chest. This tragedy had changed everything, her priorities, her heart, her view of what mattered. I don't want to waste time, she whispered. I want to leave the past behind, Daphne, the drama, everything. I want you. Carter, his voice steady with love, promised to be her rock. I'll never question your love again.